Right, the codex. Okay, so let's get a load of. Oh yeah, there's a lot here. Is there any in the primary? Yeah, there's a primary. Okay, so this is going to be a episode all unto itself, everyone. So if you don't want to hear a whole bunch of codex entries, just skip ahead to the next episode, provided you're watching this when there is another episode already uploaded after this one, and you won't miss any gameplay, I will say. How about that? So let's get started. Council races, Turian biology. The Turian homeworld, Palaven, has a metal-poor core, generating a weak magnetic field and allowing more solar radiation into the atmosphere. To deal with this, most forms of life on Palaven evolved some form of metallic exoskeleton to protect themselves. Their reflective plate-like skin makes Turians less susceptible to long-term, low-level radiation exposure, but they do not possess any sort of natural armor. A Turian's thick skin does not stop projectiles and directed energy bolts. Although life on Paladin is carbon-based and oxygen-breathing, it is built on dextroamino acids. This places the Turians in a distinct minority on the galactic stage. The Quarians are the only other known sapient dextroprotein race. The food of humans, Asari, or Solarians, who evolved in levoamino acid-based biospheres, will at best pass through Turian systems without providing any nutrition. At worst, it will trigger an allergic reaction that can be fatal if not immediately treated. Yikes. Oh, the complications of an actual galactic civilization. Prothean's beacon. No, wait. Was there something there? Cipher, data disk. No, there was nothing there. Why did I click that one? Non-council races. Krogan culture. The harsh Krogan homeworld conditioned the Krogan psychology for toughness just as it did the body. Krogan have always had a tendency to be selfish, unsympathetic, and blunt. They respect strength and self-reliance and are neither surprised nor offended by treachery. The weak and selfless do not live long. In their culture, looking out for number one is simply a matter of course. After the defeat in the rebellions, the very concept of Krogan leadership was discredited. Where a warlord could once command enough power to bring entire solar systems to heel and become overlord, these days it is rare for a single leader to have more than 1,000 warriors swear allegiance to him. Most Krogan trust and serve no one but themselves. This solitary attitude stems in part from a deep sense of fatalism and futility, a profound social effect of the genophage that caused Krogan numbers to dwindle to a relative handful. Not only are they angry that the entire galaxy seems out to get them, the Krogans are also generally pessimistic about their race's chances of survival. The surviving Krogan see no point to building for the future. There will be no future. The Krogan live with an attitude of kill, pillage, and be selfish. For tomorrow we die. Quarian law and defense. Although the Conclave establishes civil law much as any planet-based democracy, enforcement and trials are more unique. After the flight from the Geth, there were few constables to police the millions of civilians aboard the fleet, so the Navy parceled out Marine squads to maintain order and enforce the law. Today, Quarian Marines have evolved training and tactics akin to civilian police, but remain adept at combat in the confined spaces of a starship and fully under the command of the military. Once taken into custody, the accused is brought before the ship's captain for judgment. While the ship's council may make recommendations, tradition holds that the captain has absolute authority in matters of discipline. Most are lenient, assigning additional or more odious maintenance tasks aboard the ship. Persistent recidivists are accidentally left on the next habitable world. This practice of abandoning criminals on other people's planets is a point of friction between the Quarians and the systems they pass through. Captains rarely have another choice. With space and resources at a premium, supporting a non-productive prison population is not an option. In the early years, many Quarian freighters were armed and used as irregular privateers. Civilian ships still show a strong preference for armament, making them unpopular targets for pirates. Though they have rebuilt their military, they are still mere hundreds of warships to protect tens of thousands of ships. The Quarian Navy follows strict routines of patrol and takes no chances. If the intent of an approaching ship can't be ascertained, ascertained, they shoot to kill. Quarian religion. The ancient Quarians practiced ancestor worship. Even after abandoning the faith for secularism, Quarians continued to revere the wisdom of elders. As time passed and technology advanced, they inevitably turned their knowledge to preserving the personalities and memories of the elderly as computer virtual intelligences. These recordings became a repository of knowledge and wisdom, stored in a central databank and available through any extranet connection. They held no illusions that this was a form of immortality. Like all virtual intelligences, their electronically preserved ancestors were not truly sapient. This was considered a surmountable problem. Sapience could surely be reduced to simple mathematics. The Quarians began exhaustive research into creating artificial intelligence so they could learn to escape the bounds of mortality and give their ancestral records true awareness. Unfortunately, the life the Quarians created did not accept the same truths they did. The Geth destroyed the ancestor databanks when they took over. Oh, that's sad. In the centuries since they evacuated their homeworld, most Quarians have returned to religion in various forms. Many believe that the rise of the Geth and the destruction of their ancestors were chastisement for arrogantly forsaking the old ways and venerating self-made idols. Others have a more philosophical outlook, believing that their race was indeed arrogant, but no supernatural agency lay behind the Geth revolt. Rather, the Quarians' actions wrought their own doom. Either way, every Quarian would agree that their own hubris cost them their homeworld. The idea that you could take your memories and put them on a computer system is a pretty common one in science fiction. But it's always occurred to me, and it's occurred to plenty of other people too, I'm not the only person to think about this, but if you were even able to do that, if you were able to map your brain at the synapse level and then somehow recreate that in a hard drive or some kind of data storage so that it could basically run as a program, your brain could run as a program on a computer, when your biological brain died and they booted up your computer brain and claimed that was then you, and let's say that it was conscious and able to make decisions the same way that you as a living being would have made decisions, you're still dead though. You're just, now there's just a simulation of you on a computer somewhere. It's not like, unless you believe in a soul that would somehow transfer between the biological body and the technological replication of that person. You see what I'm saying? You're recreating the ego, you're not transporting the ego. The ego's being destroyed when the body dies, right? So, if I could put myself on a computer, granted my kids and grandkids and great-grandkids could enjoy talking to me and asking me questions and things, but they would not be, me myself would not be experiencing it. It'd be some simulation of me experiencing it. So I'd still be dead, for whatever that's worth. It's the same thing in Star Trek, right? Transporters in Star Trek. The science behind it, or the science fiction science behind it, is that it breaks down the subject at the molecular level, and creates information out of them, basically. Breaks down their matter, but kind of takes a blueprint of the matter at the same time it does that, and then somewhere else recreates that based on the blueprint out of other matter. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in Star Trek they claim that the matter is actually transmitted, but I think it's the case that they rebuild it somewhere else out of other matter. So you're actually destroying yourself every time you're transported and rebuilding a new version of yourself that will, of course, have all your memories and everything because it's exactly the same physical thing. But if you were to enter a transporter, like if I was to step into a Star Trek transporter, I'd be broken down in the transporter, and then when I was recreated somewhere else, this ego, would be dead and gone. It'd be some new ego that would be living out in that body without ever realizing that anything had happened. It would have a memory of going through the transporter and everything. thinking it was me, but it wouldn't be me. It'd be a copy of me that would be living on. Anyway. That's my sci-fi idea rant of the day. Let me take a drink here because I've been talking a lot. I don't know that wine is the best thing to drink when you're trying to talk, but anyway. Systems Alliance Military Doctrine. The Alliance military is of great concern to the galaxy. At first contact with the Turians, they were completely inexperienced. Turian disdain changed to respect after the relief of Shaanxi, where the humans surprised them with novel technologies and tactics. The human devotion to understanding and adapting to modern space warfare stunned the staid Council races. For hundreds of years, they had lived behind secure walls of long-proven technologies and tactics. The Council regards the Alliance as a sleeping giant. Less than 3% of humans volunteer to serve in their military, a lower proportion than any other species. They're kind of setting up the Alliance as like the United States pre-World War I or pre-World War II or something, where it's like this large country, lots of people, tons of natural resources, and it's only a matter of time until they kind of grab the crown of superpower status, right? Like the United States, prior to World War II, was just kind of sitting. I mean, they were in the Depression and everything, but all that production power, all those natural resources, and none of it was going to the war effort in 1939 and 1940. And then at the end of 1941, when the Japanese attacked the United States and entered the war, all the allies, Britain and well, it really was just kind of Britain at that point. I guess Russia too, but they were like, holy crap, this is great, because finally this huge, untapped set of resources and manpower was on their side. And that's kind of how it feels like they're setting up the Alliance here, where it's like they said, sleeping giant. It's got this incredible amount of power, and it hasn't even fully yoked it all yet, you know? Let's see. While competent, Alliance soldiers are neither as professional as the Turians, nor as skilled as the Asari. Their strengths lie in fire support, flexibility, and speed. They make up for lack of numbers with sophisticated technical support. VIs, drones, artillery, electronic warfare, and emphasis on mobility and individual initiative. Their doctrine is not based on absorbing and dishing out heavy shocks like the Turians and Krogan. Rather, they bypass enemy strongpoints and launch deep into their rear, cutting supply lines and destroying headquarters and support units, leaving enemies to wither on the vine. Why would the Turians and the Krogan also not try that? Right? Like, why would those ideas be so novel? If you were a race that had had a military for even a few hundred years, you would already understand the importance of avoiding large units and trying to cut off their resources first. You know, weaken the large units before you attack them. Heavy shocks like the Turians and Krogan. Yeah, that seems very backward. Basically, what they're saying is the Turians and Krogan just bash their heads against the wall until the enemy falls down. While the humans had the apparently novel idea of trying to, kick the feet out from under the enemy before they knock them down. I don't know. Weird. It's insulting to the Krogans and the Turians, I guess, from a world building perspective, that such a standard military tactic would be a novel thing from the humans. I don't know. Whatever. Fine. I know. The humans are special. We've already been through this. On defense, the human military is a rapid reaction force that lives by Sun Tzu's maxim: he who tries to defend everything defends nothing. Garrisons are intended for scouting rather than combat, avoiding engagements to observe and report on invaders using drones. The token garrisons of human colonies make it easy for alien powers to secure them, for which the Alliance media criticizes the military. However, the powerful fleets stationed at phase gate nexuses, such as Arcturus, are just a few hours or days from any colony within their sphere of responsibility. In the event of an attack, they respond with overwhelming force. I imagine the Alliance military is probably set up a lot like the United States military, with like a central command and a command for every region or continent. In this case, a command for every galactic region, like the Verge, Attic and Traverse, Council Space, that kind of thing. Although, no, that can't be true, because there's tons of areas of the galaxy that humans haven't even really touched yet, so they probably have commands for colony areas, I would say. That's my guess. Not so much the entire galaxy at this point. Technology. Biotic games. Life as a biotic. Biotics possess extraordinary abilities, but they must live with minor inconveniences. The most obvious issue is getting adequate nutrition. Creating biotic mass effects takes such a toll on metabolism that active biotics develop ravenous appetites. The standard Alliance combat ration for a soldier is 3,000 calories per day. Biotics are given 4,500, as well as a canteen of potent energy drink for quick refreshment after hard combat. Another issue is electric charge. Electricity accumulated in starship drive cores must be discharged, and so must the electricity in a biotic user. Biotics are prone to small, static discharges when they touch metal. Ouch. Keep a bowl of water in your room if you're a biotic. Unfortunately, human biotics also face suspicion and persecution, beginning with the popular misconception that they can read and control minds. Biotics symbolize the dehumanization of mankind to people philosophically or religiously opposed to gene modification and cybergenetics. Anti-transhumanists. Militaries are the only organizations that always welcome biotics, offering them huge recruitment incentives. That makes sense. Okay, getting to primary now, which means that Mr. Verbiage is going to read to you here, so I'm actually going to mute my mic for a second and take a couple drinks of water. Actually, I have water now. Okay, let's see.
Though now extinct, the Rachni once threatened every species in Citadel space. Over 2,000 years ago, explorers foolishly opened a mass relay to a previously unknown system and encountered something never seen before or since, a species of spacefaring insects guided by a hive mind intelligence. Unfortunately, the Rachni were not peaceful, and the galaxy was plunged into a series of conflicts known as the Rachni Wars. Attempts to negotiate were futile, as it was impossible to make contact with the hive queens that guided the race from beneath the surface of their toxic home world. The emergence of the Krogan ended the Rachni Wars. Bred to survive the harshest environments, the Krogan were able to strike at the queens in their lairs and reclaim conquered council worlds. But when Krogan fleets pressed them back to their homeworld, the Rachni refused to surrender, and the Krogan eradicated them from the galaxy.
I didn't realize it was over 2,000 years ago. I thought it was within the last couple hundred years. They mentioned it's spacefaring insects, but they look an awful shrimp-like, don't they? Not so much insects. Right. Okay. Ships and vehicles. Sovereign.
Sovereign is the flagship of the rogue Spectre Saren. An enormous dreadnought larger than any other ship in any known fleet, it is crewed with both Geth and Krogan. At 2 kilometers long, its spinal-mounted main gun is likely capable of penetrating another dreadnought's kinetic barriers with a single shot. How Saren acquired this incredible warship is unknown. The prevailing opinion is that Sovereign is a Geth construct, while others believe it is a Prothean relic. Its design, however, hints at a more alien and mysterious origin. The attack on Eden Prime demonstrated Sovereign's ability to generate mass effect fields powerful enough to land on a planetary surface. This implies it has a massive Element Zero core and the ability to generate staggering amounts of power.
All things I think Shepard probably noticed for himself when he saw it on Eden Prime. Technology, mass relays.
Mass relays are feats of Prothean engineering advanced far beyond the technology of any living species. They are enormous structures scattered throughout the stars and can create corridors of virtually mass-free space, allowing instantaneous transit between locations separated by years or even centuries of travel using conventional FTL drives. Primary mass relays can propel ships thousands of light years, often from one spiral arm of the galaxy to another. However, they have fixed one-to-one connections. A primary relay connects to one other primary relay and nowhere else. Secondary relays can only propel ships across a few hundred light years. However, they are omnidirectional. A secondary relay can send a ship to any other relay within its limited range. There are many dormant primary relays whose corresponding twins have not yet been located. These are left inactive until their partner is charted, as established civilizations are unwilling to blindly open a passage that might connect them to a hostile species.
After the Rachni, I can't say that I blame them. Alright, there we go. That's the codex. Actually, I'm going to save it after that. We've done a lot.